Alrighty. So we're talking about exam 1 review for Math 210. Just so you know, I'm recording this. Don't make me yell at you. Now, exam review can be found here. Review questions and answers are posted separately for you to practice. Now, alrighty. So this is exam 1 for your 210 class. And exam 1 questions are available on Canvas if you want to take a look. Exam 1 review. I'm going to begin section by section. It covers 1.1 to 2.2, and I only have today's class to go over all of them. There will be no solutions. No solutions will be posted. Every question on this review has been solved during my lectures. You can find a solution for a similar problem somewhere. But all the basics that you need to tackle these problems in exam is what I'll give you in today's class, okay? Number one, you are given a table that shows the number of cars sold per month. So a table is given here, right? Time t and S of t is the number of cars sold. Time t is measured in weeks. And S of t is the number of cars sold. It's using the average formula. If you recall from our first lecture, we did the average of a function formula, remember? They're asking you what is the average rate of change in the number of cars sold between week 3 and week 6. Who's going to answer? Average. Raise your hand if you know which formula to apply. Average rate of change. Now, because they say not many hands, this is not good news. Come on, somebody. You were talking so much. Nobody's talking now. Between t equals 3 and t equals 6. Now, for questions like this, if you see a question like this in exam, you should be happy. This table or a graph, you don't have to plug values in. The function value is given to you, right? If you go to the table, what is the number of cars sold for week 3? 9, good job. What is the number of cars sold for week 6? What is the formula? Whenever I say for average, I will give you an interval. You know from here, average means interval, no need to differentiate. So what will happen here? The average rate of change will be change in the number of cars, right? This is the formula you had in mind. All who raised hands, good job. And no need to plug anything because you're given the function value at those 2 points. What are the units? I will be very strict about units in exam. Just make sure whatever you do, you can screw up the math a little bit, but do not screw up the limits because that shows me that you're not studying, okay? What are the units here? Per week, good job. What's the final answer? 5 cars per week. Right? Good? It doesn't have to be exactly the correct English, but at least just have the week or month or year, or if it's a million population, 1,000 population, dollars, just be careful you're using the right units. Okay, question number 1 clear? Question number 2, it's similar thing, but instead of a table, I give you a graph. For question number 2, I'm not going to solve it. Instead of a table, sometimes you will get a graph. You have a graph. Now, one thing that I want you to focus on in question number 2 is, tell me which is the year t equals 0. These are the two important things to note. Important things. Everybody has questions in front of them? I mean, one person can share their laptop. Not all of you need to be. I'm assuming all of you have access to the question, right? Okay, so just tell me which year on the graph corresponds to time t equals 0. 2013, we're beginning from t equals 0, which means your year is 2013, right? And how many games Susan's team won after 1 year? That's the year 2014. Good question. Well, you look at the graph and you tell me. So that's a constant number of games she won, not more. English could be the weird part here. Okay, what's the answer? 62, right? You can read the graph, right? But what are the 2 years in question here? They're going from t equals something to t equals some other year. 2018 to 2021. What does that mean? How many years after 2013 I will get to 2018? 5, right? Make sense to everybody? So just remember this part. For questions with the graph, especially if I say let's begin our time from 1995, that's time 0. Then you count. Okay, if they're asking you from 1998 to 2001, you do not plug 1998 in the question. That will be wrong. And in this case, you could not screw up too much because the difference would still be the same. You were reading from the graph. But for the next question, that makes a difference. For question number 3, I will post this video for you guys if you want to watch it again. But for question number 3, I have a function now. I'm not going to solve every problem. I don't have time. PT, and trust me, you don't want me to solve every problem. You just want hints. 3.4 t squared negative 15t plus 140, right? Note 2 things here, beginning from January of 2015. Make sense? What does that mean? T equals 0 means Jan of 2015. So when I say part A, find the average rate of change from start of 2018 to 2020, which 2 t values are you looking at? Yes. 2015 to 2018, how many t? 3. And between the, what is the endpoint? There you go. So you're looking from t equals 3 to t equals 5, and that's the number that goes in there, right? Make sense? What is the formula? P5 minus P3 divided by, it's same formula. The only difference is now I have a function and I just have to be careful how I'm counting my time. Time in years, time in weeks, time in months. Just be careful how you're counting it, okay? Formula is the same. Can you find P5? What will you do? How many know what to do? Not many. You know what to do, right? Can you do this question in the exam? Ziyadani? Can you do this in the exam? Just plug in 5 in place of t, plug in 3. You are allowed a calculator, so use it. And now for part B here, part B, I want the instantaneous because I want the rate of change for the exact year 2020. What happens when I only give you 1 point? What do we do for cases like this? Instantaneous rate of change. What do you do? How many know what to do? Derivatives, right? Differentiate. Good job. And 2020 means t equals 5. When they only give you 1 year, not an interval, you're supposed to find the derivative. Differentiate p prime. What do you get? Everybody's champion with the power rule. Take the power out, the constant remains there. Subtract 1 from the power, that would just be negative 15. And because they're asking for 2020, the specific value, the time value is 5 because we are beginning from 2015. Okay, any questions with this? Any questions you ask? You're not clear how we got the 5, why we are doing this? Any questions? No question is done. I might give it an answer, but you can ask me anything. Yes.
When it comes to the average rate of change, you still, because the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, you should still use like 28 in that instance because you'd still get the same value.
Because you know the formula that they've given is for each year passing after 2015. So when we say for 2016, that means 1 year has passed. But the top will be different, right? The top you'll be plugging 2015. I know the bottom will year of difference will be the same, but the top. That's why for the graphical questions it did not make a change. Good point. You see why team had a question? It makes a difference only when you have a function where you have to plug in the value. Now, everybody okay with this? So what is the rate of change at t equals 5? Just plug in 5 there, you get 6.8 times 5 minus 15. What is it? 19. And what are the units here? $1,000 a year. Good job. And you can do this, right? Dollars per year. And if I wanted to express your answer in an English sentence, how will you say it? Is it increasing, decreasing? What is happening here? Okay, somebody give me one sentence answer, complete. Raise hand if you can. Yes, at the back. Yes, purple t-shirt, yeah. Good job. Agree, everybody? Right? This is exactly how I want you to write. When I say interpret your result, it will be a 2-mark question, okay? You will get multiple choice, you will get free responses, you'll get true, false, you will find exactly the same thing. There will be one extra question, interpret. What does your answer mean? You look at the sign, you look at the year, you look what we are doing in that question, express a sentence. Yes. Yeah. No. No. So for multiple choice and true false, no need to show work. There will be no partial credit. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. Okay. Number 4 is the same thing, right? How many can solve number 4? Number 4 and exam 1 review. Good. Alrighty. I'm going to go directly to number 6 here. Question? Ask me what is the question? Okay, we'll discuss this during my office hours. But you're sure you did the right work, right? Okay. You did the average data formula. Good. Then we'll talk about number 6 in a minute. Yes.
For number 2, how do we get the values?
Just look at the graph. You just have to find the y value for that x value. So for,
So how do we know it's exact?
well, in exam, I'll give you better graph. Okay, number 6. I have this function. The distance function is given by t squared negative 3t plus 5. Distance in meters. See, you don't wanna, you will solve all these problems. Do it at home. When I'm going through these problems, because you might miss something if you are at a different problem. Number A, average velocity from t equals 1 to t equals 4. What is the formula? Oh, you already solved it?
No. Don't I tell you?
What is the formula? Yes.
Y2 minus Y1 and the X minus X1.
Okay, and what will you, how will you find y2?
We'll take it Y2, you plug in 1.
What comes first? 4 comes first, right? You plug in 4 first. But you were 99% correct. Good job. No. Unless you want to switch the order at the bottom too. Then it will make sense. Yes. But makes sense? Just plug in 4, plug in 1. Who has the final answer for me? Anyone? 2? And okay, what's your name? Sabrina? Agree with Sabrina? Good. And what are the units now? Meters per second. This makes sense? Okay, what about part B? I want to find the instantaneous. See, sometimes the word instantaneous might not be there. But they'll just tell you, I want the rate of change at 1 point. Then you immediately know I have to differentiate, right? What is the instantaneous velocity at t equals 3? Instantaneous velocity at t equals 3, what will you do? Well, first you will differentiate. What is the derivative? 2t minus 3, and they want to check the instantaneous velocity at? And what's the answer? So can you write a 1 sentence for it? Who's gonna answer? Raise hand if you know. Yes.
At 3 seconds, the velocity of the car is 3 meters.
Increasing or decreasing? Increasing, right? Every time you're dealing with a derivative, the sign matters because it will either be increasing or decreasing. So that's the word you want to incorporate in your sentence. But good point. Yes. Only for questions that I ask. Now, for the 7th question, I need to show you the graph now. So, well, let's just download it, right? Why not? Hold on. Don't panic. It's not for you. I just, oh no, I don't wanna. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Okay, because I want to share this graph to solve this problem. Now, look at this graph. How many of you remember the limit concept? When I say limit x approaching from 2 from the negative side, what happens? Let's annotate on the screen. Now, I hope you're taking notes. So number 2, I go for the 2 value, right? I go to the graph. Hold on, I'm going from the left hand side. So go slightly left, right? Negative signs means going from the left. So go slightly left to 2 and try to see where your function will hit. Where is it hitting? 7. So what is the limit from left hand side? Everybody can do this. Everybody can see the screen. Is it clear enough? No, the graph. Oh,
Don't like zoom in the whole like, yeah.
I'll try.
Okay, never mind.
How do you see? Oh, there you go. You know, look, I would say that I'm not tech savvy. I can code, but I don't know the real PDF stuff. Okay, let's do it again. I'm doing it again. So let me pick a brighter color here. 2 from the negative. What does that mean? Go to the left and try to hit the function where it hits. Anybody who does not agree? Anybody who cannot do it on the exam? Okay, good. Now, 2 from the positive side. So what does that mean? Go from the right hand side and hit the function. What do you get? Okay, limit x approaching to 2 from the negative side means go to the left of 2 and start drawing dots to function, right? Make sense? The right hand side means you are going from the right and start drawing dots. Do they match? Then what is the limit at 2? How many go for 0? Good job. Okay, now the second function is just asking you x equals 4. What happens there? I need to check 2 things, right? Is my function breaking at 4? If your function is not breaking at 4, you don't have to check anything, right? Just see what is the function value at 4, right? You always check left hand limit, right hand limit, because my function is not breaking. Function not breaking at x equals 4. Okay, those who are discussing too much in my class, do it after. You're too loud when you're discussing. Or do it quietly. This makes sense? If I'm approaching a number and my function is not, you'll miss something important, I'm telling you. If the function is not breaking, no need to check left hand side, right hand side. Just focus on that value, that's your limit. Good? Now, let's go back to the other question. Oh no. Hold on, I can fix this. Okay, so this was the limit question. That's good with everybody, right? Now I don't need the graph, so we can pass it. Now let's go back to question number 8. Question number 8. How do I find limits algebraically? I have a function, part A. I don't see anything problematic. What is the limit x approaching to 2? Who can do this in exam? 2x cubed negative 2x plus root x plus 2. Just plug it in, right? Is there a fraction? Then it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. What will you do? You ask yourself, is there a fraction? The answer is no. Then no need to simplify. Just plug 2 in. What's the answer? Yeah, that's the answer that is wrong. In the sheet, it is 14. You're right. But in the answers, it says 22. That's wrong. Okay, let's recall. Who remembers? Everybody has their calculator? What is the limit x approaching to 5? 3e to the power x minus 5. That was intentional. What is the answer now?
3.
How many go for 3? Good job. What did you do? You just plugged it in and you got e to the power 0, and anything to the power 0 is? Good job. Sometimes they will not give you numbers. Don't panic. All you have to do is plug it in. Let's talk about number f here. So I have limit x approaching to 3, ax negative 3, and I have b x square negative 1. Now a and b are any real numbers, okay? What is the limit? Just plug in 3. You cannot solve anything, right? You see what I did? I just plugged in x equals 3 because a and b, I'm treating them as constants. Any questions? Sorry? No, 3 square is 9. Just leave it like that because you don't know what is a and b, right? So you cannot simplify unless I give you a value for a value for b. This good? Yes.
For B, do we have to say what numbers would have?
What number is what?
What would make it,
So for part B,
this 2 would make it a 0 on the bottom. So we have to specify.
wait, which part are you? Number B? But we are calculating the limit at 3.
I know, but I'm saying, like, do we have to specify that actually?
No. See, good question. The function is, you cannot say, and you have to simplify it first. You have to factor the quadratic, you have to factor the bottom. We will not be worrying about in this exam. That's not going to be on the exam. Good. Questions like that, where you'll get 0 over 0. I haven't taught you that. It won't be on the exam.
We have to simplify our practice.
No. No need for simplification. There is one more graph question. Okay, let's go back. One more graph question. Now I just have more limits. Okay. You know the drill. Yes. B won't be on the exam. C, like B and C both can be on the exam because the bottom is not 0 for any of them. But you won't get questions where the bottom will be 0 or the top, both of them will be 0. Yes. Okay, look at this question. How many of you know the drill? How many of you can find me all the limits? How many of you can do it on the exam? How many would like me to explain? Okay, so I'm going -4, okay? Now focus here. Now I can't zoom in too much because the graph will miss. I'm going -4 from left-hand side. So -4 goes slightly left and start hitting the graph. What is the limit? Well, it is a confusing one, isn't it? Well, yeah, I guess it will be, if you go slightly left, it should be 1, right? Getting close to 1. And what about -4 from the positive side? Well, that would be -1. Make sense? Okay, I won't give you a crazy question like this. Are they same? Okay, anybody wants me to explain this again? Raise hand. Okay, let's do one more. So I have 1, I'm going from the left hand side. What is the value? And I have 1, I'm going from the right hand side. They both catch up to. So this limit exists and it equals to, is the function continuous at 4? No, function is not continuous because function is not continuous at x equals 1 because you see open circle. Open circle means there is a break. Good job. Okay, let's do 4 from the positive side. So if I go from the left, you don't know where it will hit. It's going to infinity. In that case, I'll just do DNE, DNE. Well, I could just say infinity, infinity, infinity everywhere, right? Because they're not different. They're both approaching to infinity. Yes. Hold on. I can't see this. So let's just. I said DNE in the answers. I said it's not continuous.
For F, I'm saying you wrote that it was 4. That's the answer.
And what's the answer on the thing?
How come it's not?
It is defined. It is 4. Limit is different than continuity. The value of the function is not 4. So f of 1 is not 4. Hence, the function is not continuous, but limit exists. Yes.
We're going to get a question on the exam.
Yes. Yes, expect a question like this on exam with a graph and everything. Now, okay, all good? Question.
Does it matter if you write DNE or infinity?
No, not for this exam, at least. Okay, let's clear this and let's move on to, oh, come on. Let's move on to number 10. Now, I don't give you a graph, but it's very similar. Look what I'm saying. I'm saying myself, my monthly bill jumps from 66 to 95 in July. Cost of bill is T. T equals 1 represents January. Answer the following for the limit. July is what month of the year? Good. So in the beginning of, like, just when I go left of July, means June, my bill was 66. But when I go right, slightly right of July, my bill is, does the limit exist? Can you understand this question in the exam? It is a little trick question, but that's why it's in the review. Good? Now you're aware. Back row, all good? Okay, now this is the question where I asked you in the group work also. Limit exists means what? If I give you a piecewise function, this is question number 11. Question number 11. I have a piecewise function 1 over 3x plus c negative x plus 6. This is very important. For x less than equal to 3, for x greater than 3. Okay. I say the limit at 3 exists. You know what it means? X is 3. Less than equal to 3 means something here, right? Left hand side. This clear? This means on the left hand side of 3. Greater than or equal to 3 means on the right side of 3. This is clear, everybody? So whenever I will be counting the left hand limit or the right hand limit, I will see which function corresponds to the left hand side, which function associates with the right hand side. And you have to check for each question. Okay, draw the number line, draw your point, see which function is left, which function is right. Good. Now find me the limit x approaching to 3 from the left hand side. Which function will you pick? How many go for top one? How many go for bottom one? Okay, good. How many want me to explain which one to pick? So look what is happening here. You see the less than or greater than sign, right? You draw the point, the x equals 3 value here, right? The point 3 goes on the number line. Less than means you are less than 3, right? That's how I say that this function goes on the left. Right hand side means I'm slightly greater than 3, and that's why this is right. So when I say limit 3 from left hand side, I pick that function. Now, because I don't give you questions, sorry, my bad. But how do you check? You have to check both left and right, right? We don't know the function is continuous. The function is breaking at 3. So in this case, we have to check both. And the limit will exist only if, okay, let's solve this. So what is the answer here? Plug in 3. What do you get? +1, right? And what about the right hand side? Which function to pick? You see, you pick the bottom one, you plug in your x, which is -3 + 6, 3. Now we want to know that the limit exists. For limit to exist, what should happen? Exactly, they should equal. This is all the work. If any of this work is missing in the exam, I will take marks off, okay? Make sure you understand. C equals 2. So your C must equal 2 for the limit at x equals 3 to exist. Good? Could be a multiple choice question where they'll give you a bunch of values of C, you'll have to solve. Question? Yes. Yes. But yes, there is a C involved, right? So for what value of C will they equal? That's what you solve for. So for limit to exist, yes, you're right. So we're finding C. Question? Yes. If it's an MCQ, no. No. Question? Same thing we're doing. But if it's not an MCQ, if it's an MCQ, do whatever you want. Get the right answer. If it's not an MCQ, this is what I want you to do. Okay? Just know the concept, right? I'm finding the left hand limit. I'm finding the right hand limit. I'm equating them, right? And you should know how to find limit. Okay, good. Everybody good here? Okay, true or false question. Now that is something that I don't want to write. That is something that we'll just take a look, or should I come back to it after I do the other questions? Yeah, how about I come back to it after I do these problems, right? You see, you are given a point on the graph. They're asking you if the function is continuous, differentiable, both, or neither. Okay, I'll give you one hint to solve these problems. Question number 13, let me say, if you have a point, question number 13, okay, for differentiability, okay, if you end up with a corner, now this is important, with a corner in your graph, means you can't draw a tangent and hence function is not differentiable. You can't draw a tangent, hence function is not differentiable at that point. Now keep this in mind, okay? Then we'll go back to the question. Differentiable at that point. So every time you are ending up with a corner or the function breaks and you can't draw a tangent, the function will not be differentiable. Continuous, you can just look at the function and tell, right? Okay, let's go back. Can you remember this? Every time I have a point or a corner, not differentiable. Okay. Look at number A. Is the function continuous? Yes, continuous. Is the function differentiable? No, because at C I have a point. Not differentiable. You can't draw a tangent. Right? What about this guy? What about at C here? Is the function continuous? Is the function differentiable? Yes, I can draw a tangent. There is no corner. No corners or points sticking out at C. So, yes, differentiable. This makes sense? Okay, let's do more. Brush, clear out drawing, cross. Okay, now, what about here? I can't draw a tangent here, right? I'm ending up with the function is breaking at C. Is it continuous? Clearly not. Is it differentiable? Clearly not. If it's not continuous, it will not be differentiable. That is out of the question. Is it continuous at C? Party. It's breaking, right? You can just see. If it's not continuous, definitely it won't be good. What about this question right here? Now be careful. Sometimes they'll just give you an open circle. You see the open circle here? Means the function is breaking at that point. Good. If you end up with an open circle at that point, function is not continuous. If it's not continuous, it cannot be. What about the last part? Again, I have a corner point. I can't draw a tangent. It cannot be differentiable, but it is continuous. Good. Now comes the difficult part, which we have all been waiting for. Derivatives. Now I can't do all of them, but I'll do a little bit of review for the rules. Now these are all the rules I want you to remember. For number 14 and number 15. So number 14 and 15 are basically derivatives, power rule, and the formula for exponential, log, chain rule, right? What is the first rule to remember? Now, you are not allowed any note cards, okay? Rules to remember. Okay, let's just do a quick review before I move on to the problems. What is the derivative of x to the power n? Okay, you have to remember this, okay? All of you should remember this for the exam. Okay, what is the derivative of a constant? What is the derivative of x? What is the derivative of 5x? How many go with 5? Good job. What is the derivative of 5x squared? Who said 5x? Luke. It's 10x, right? What is the derivative of e to the power x? Good job. Most of you remember stuff, but this is what you must memorize before the exam. Okay, that was good. Now let's come back to chain rule. Let's get things one level up. Chain rule. Okay, if I give you some function here, okay, some inner function, and I want to raise it to power, and I want to differentiate, what is chain rule? Only Alana, nobody else. I want more people answering. Raise hand if you know. There are 2 steps. How many know that there are 2 steps? Right? This is chain rule. I will take out the power. I will copy the inner function. I will subtract the power by 1, then multiply by inner function derivative, right? This was the power rule for chain rule. Okay. What about I have e to the power something, not x. Now this you will see it in exam, okay? Make sure you can solve this. E to the power something, not x. What do you do? You copy e to the power something. This step will remain constant everywhere. So you multiply by something derivative. Good? There is one extra step for chain rule. Okay. What about I have ln inside is something. Now this is where you are struggling. I saw a few today, and you kind of screw up this part. So be careful. The whole something goes to the bottom because that's the formula for ln derivative, right? But because that's not just x, what will you do? Multiply by something derivative. I have plenty of examples solved during lecture, or they're posted on Canvas. Read through them, okay? What is product rule? Product rule, product rule. Who's gonna answer? All this is what you must remember. Product rule. Okay, I've basically reviewed all formulas that are important to you. What about quotient rule? Very quiet, Luke, not talking too much. You got this?
Over G squared.
I'm just writing down the formula. Okay, good. What if you have a square root? How do you get rid of the root? Make a power. Everybody knows? If you ask me during exam, I'll be mad. Okay, if I have something in the bottom, I want to move it up. Everybody knows that? Okay, good. Let's solve problems now. Okay, I will let you pick from question number 14, 15, pick any 4 problems. Hold on. Who says number 14? Which ones? Okay. Come on, quick, pick a question. Okay. All right, let's go through. Okay, F was a bad choice, whoever picked it. F of X is a joke. Who picked this? You said F of 15? Oh, okay, let me solve this little one now. Okay, this is such a bad choice. What is a derivative? Oh, I have a thing at the bottom. How do I solve it first? X to the power -5, right? Oh, I'm just solving it first. Read my answers and see where you are making a mistake. You are allowed to bring a calculator. This was just power rule. It had nothing fancy going on. Yes. If 6, oh, my bad, but the question I wrote was different. But whatever I wrote, right, it was just power rule. The only tricky thing for this question was you have to move that thing from the bottom to up. Now, do not mess with negatives. Be very careful when you're solving questions like this. You have a negative in front of 2, you bring the negative 5 out, it becomes positive 10, right? That's important thing. And you're subtracting 1 from negative 5, you get negative 6. Little things. Just be careful. Okay, now I'm gonna pick the real question, number I. 14 part I. What do I need to solve this? I need product rule, right? And see, all the powers are already in, everything is in power form, right? Except the 1 over x square, I'm going to make it x to the power negative 2. Good? All I did, I made the 1 over x square a negative 2. How many know that we will apply product rule here? Exactly. How many can apply product rule? What is f prime? What is g prime? What is f prime? Not Alana, not you. Raise hand. What is f prime? That's just power rule, right? From the back. Can you find f prime? Okay, I'll write it here. So you get negative, but practice, okay? Answers are posted. Take 1, negative 7, x to the power negative 2. How many are getting a different f prime? Okay, then you're good. What is g prime? Negative 2 comes out, subtract 1, but it's subtracting, that becomes 0, right? Constant becomes 0. Now all you have to do is apply the formula. So I'll do f prime, which is 10x negative 7x to the power negative 2 times g, which is x to the power negative 2 negative 7, plus I'll do g prime, which is negative 3, and then I'll do f, which is square plus 7 x to the power negative 1. I'm just plugging in f prime, g, g prime, f in the product rule. Can you do that? Yes. You can absolutely leave it like that. Okay, I want to do 14. What was the next one? Okay, do you still want me to do k?
So we do, instead of k, can we do extra powers on it?
Yes. Okay, pick more in 15. Okay, I'm hearing mixed reviews. Okay. 15 consensus I want here.
Oh.
How many for O? Say yay. Okay, 15 O is a good one. I like it. 15. Okay, how many want me to solve O? Okay, good. So I have y equals 7t cube e 1 minus t5. Look, this review is for you guys to get an idea of what type of questions to expect in exam. I'm just being nice and going over it, but doesn't mean I'll solve all of it, okay? But I'll make sure I'll solve all the important part. I want to touch base on every important section here. But if you practice all of it, you should be good to go. Now, tell me, can you see a product rule happening or a quotient rule happening? How many go for product rule? Raise hand. Awesome, you are correct. I have a function f, I have a function g, right? Clearly, I have a product rule happening because one of them, that's the whole thing, okay? This is a whole thing. It's e to the power something. We will need chain rule later on, but let's just call what is f, what is g. So f is, all of you agree, that's the first function. G is, all of you agree, that's the second function, right? Anybody thinks differently? Anyone disagree? Okay, good. Now, what is f prime? Now, that's easy peasy. 21t square. Now, here comes the real part. What rule will you use? I have e to the power something. What happens when I have e to the power something? How many go for chain rule? Now, don't be lost. Ask me questions. If you don't get it, you ask me now. It's clear? It's not just e to the power x, because e to the power x is just e to the power x. Yes, of course, I'm solving it. I'm not going to leave you hanging here. Okay. What is the derivative of e applying a chain rule? Just copy that, e to the power 1 minus t to the power 5. But you're not done here. What do you multiply with? The derivative of that. So 1 is 0. What about that guy? You see why I wrote 0? Because there was a negative. Do not miss the negative. Okay, so far, any doubts? Yes.
No, like the last part in blue. Can you like explain that part?
So what is the chain rule for e to the power something? You copy e to the power something, multiply by the something which is highlighted, derivative. So what is the derivative of 1? 0. What is the derivative of t to the power 5? Power rule. Take the 5 out, subtract 1.
You have to write the 0 though?
No, this is just to show you that there's a negative, so that you don't miss the negative in exam. The whole question will be wrong. Now, you could get rid of the 0. You don't have to write it. So it's e to the power 1 minus t to the power 5 times negative 5t to the power 4. This clear? Now what's the last step? Just plug it in, right? Plug it in the formula f prime g prime. Do you want me to do that? Okay, next question. Who wants me to do something else from 15? Yes.
The one with the absolute value.
How many go for G? Okay, I'm doing 15 part G here. Absolute value, you don't have to worry about it. This is y ln x cube negative 8x, okay? Again, I have log function, but something inside the log is not x. What is the chain rule? Now, this is where I want you to focus. The whole of it will go to the bottom. And you leave that absolute function as it is. It's okay. You can make it a bracket or leave it as it is. What do you multiply with? Okay, how many go for people at the back? Make sense? Okay, good. Make sense on the right hand limit. All good here? Left hand limit. Oh, you have a question.
So we can leave it like that. We won't have to
No, don't worry. Left hand limit. All good so far? Central limit. All good? Can you do it in the exam? Okay, how many want me to explain it again? So all I'm doing is, I have ln, inside is something, right? And I wrote all the formulas out for you. I'll post this. ln something. What do? 1 over something times something derivative. Remember, memorize formulas. That's the key to succeed. Now, next, go back. So I have ln something, 1 over something times bracket the derivative. What do? All right? As long as you have formulas on your tips, nothing should be difficult. Okay? Question? Yes. raising hand. Yes, okay.
We only use the product and quotient rule when it's concerning two different functions. So like for A and B, we wouldn't use it.
A and B, no.
B,
But since it's
Which one B? Where B are you
D,
talking?
D.
Or D?
So
D is not a quotient rule. It's a constant. I'm going to talk about it. Yes. Oh, you are saying there is something inside the log which has an exponent. Oh, good question. Is it here? Ah, that's a good one. Okay, so what's your name? Abade. Okay. Okay, Abate. Okay, there you go. Great question. What if now? Okay, this is a good one. What if you have what if you have square root x cube plus 7? Now that's a great question. Expect a difficult question in the exam like this. How do I differentiate this?
I would say into the power.
What is square root? Square root is power. Oh, you mean the whole thing? Oh, that's a. Okay, so what you're saying is you had a ln x, whole thing was power 5. Okay, who's gonna answer this question for me? I'll bring you a candy, I promise.
You do 1 over x first, and then.
No. Yes.
But do the power where it's 5 and the x of 4, and then do you multiply that by 1 over x?
Yes.
That's like 5 over x.
Okay, hold on. You had the right answer. Okay. Yes, Alana, what do you have to say? Chain rule? Which chain rule? There's so many chain rules. The power rule, right? What is the power rule of chain rule? You're using that rule here. If there is something raised to the power something, I want to differentiate it. What will I do? I'll take the something out. I mean, not the something. I'll take the power out, multiply by something derivative, right? And what is the something here in this question? This is a formula that you must remember, right? The something in this question is ln x. So I will take the power out, leave the ln x as it is, subtract 1, multiply by ln x derivative, which is, and leave it here. Leave it here. Good? Yes. Exactly, you could just say it like this: 5 over x ln x to the power 4. Okay, somebody had a question. Do you want me to solve more problem or you're good to go? No, somebody had problem with D, right? Part D. Look, I'll solve one more problem, but you try solving these, okay? I'll post the video and the notes. 25. I'll post these notes for you to review. And you have the video to see what I'm saying. Now, what Alana was saying, or some of you were saying, apply quotient rule. When I'm telling you, do not apply quotient rule here. You could make your life so much easier. No, move the bottom up. What do you get? Those who feel confident for Wednesday are good to leave. Moving the bottom up, but those who are leaving better get a good grade. Yes. Exactly. You can simplify this with a chain rule. Make your life easy. Yeah. Great question. You always use a chain rule. Yes, but you know what will happen? If I do x to the power 5, good luck, I'll see you Wednesday. You are applying chain rule here also. Question. Okay, just ask me question, you're good to go.